Well, that was boring. What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. And yeah, not the best game. And honestly, I will say this today was the first time that Mourinho got one over on Lampard. I know some people say, well, they beat us in the Capital One Cup. Didn't he get one over on him then? Not really. Yeah, they won in penalties, but honestly, we still looked the better team on the day. Like, we just didn't finish our chances, and if not for Emerson, being on the pitch, we wouldn't have given up a goal. So I really feel like even though we lost, ultimately, I still feel like we were the better team. I still feel like Lampard set us up with better tactics. Today is the first day that Mourinho actually was able to implement his tactics and get what he wanted out of the game. Because the way he set up and the way that Tottenham were playing, you could tell they were just going to sit back. They were okay with the draw, but they might hit us on the counterattack, and if they didn't get anything, they're still good. They're still okay. And that was pretty much the game. It was boring, it was dull, and it was a point for us at home, which is honestly not a great result. Even if Tottenham are playing well this season, even if they are, top of the table now, it's still not a good result to get a 0-0 draw at home. 2-2, there's still problems. You're still giving up goals, but at least you scored 2 goals. At least you're creating something, especially with how much attacking talent you brought in. That would at least be a better result because it means you got something out of the game. You had to cause Mourinho to change his tactics. Because most of the time, he's just going to sit in on a Big 16. It's very rare that they go all-out attack. Against Man U went down to man early on. They just went all out. And they went for it, and there you go. 6-1. But that's a very rare occurrence. Most of the time, they sit, they wait for the other team to come onto them, and then they break quickly. They've got Son with pace, they've got Bergwijn, they've got Ndombele all with pace. Kane is great at sending the ball over the top, and that's how they've been playing against the top teams, and it's been successful for them so far. And today, again, it was very successful. They didn't really create as many chances as I think they normally do, but they still created some of the better chances. And if not for one good save from Mendy and a couple of miscues from a couple players, honestly, they looked the more likely to create a chance. They looked the more likely to get something out of it. Whereas for us, we had a chance at the beginning of the game, a shot on target, and then we had one goal that was ruled out for offside. And then Mason Mount had a shot in the second half that Lloris had to do well to save. Abraham had a couple chances that he wasted. Like, they were never really chances that I felt like, yes, this is our opportunity. Except for the Mason Mount chance. There just wasn't much. We were just kind of passing, dump ball. They've won the ball, and now they're coming at us with pace. And that was most of the game for us. So I really do feel like Mourinho, he got what he wanted. He got the point. He got to park the bus and then put the tire stoppers underneath it, and just kept us from really getting any good looks at goal. So a little disappointed with that. But part of it, I will take a little pressure off of Lampard, because part of that is we're missing 2 of our better attacking threats in Pulisic and Havertz. And obviously they did come on the field later, but they're not starting the games. And I feel like that's kind of what we were lacking today. Because you look at the midfield, nothing against Mount and Kovacic. I still think they're great players. Neither of them are quite as effective in the final third. Mount has his shots from outside the box that are normally well taken. But aside from that, neither of them are really good at finding the final ball in that final third, as Havertz is. When it comes to being up top, Werner, not as effective on the wing, but he has to be there because Pulisic is still out. And I don't know why Hudson-Odoi wasn't available. He might have been out through sickness or injury or something. But without Pulisic, Werner has to step out wide. Abraham up top, good striker sometimes, but he's still young and he's still inconsistent, like we saw today. So neither of them are really, Werner's out of position. Abraham's not always consistent, so they're not really our best options there. Werner up top is pretty consistent, and then Pulisic on the wing is normally really solid. So I feel like you put those 2 players in, we do have a bit more going forward. And defensively, I still thought, even though Tottenham did look somewhat dangerous at times, I still think defensively we look really solid with the defense we have, plus Conte sitting in front. So I feel like that would have been the one change If you were able to get those attacking players on, I think maybe the game shifts in our favor a little bit, and we actually do create some good chances, not chances from outside the box. That Lloris, one of them he did have to make a bit of an effort to save, but the other one from Ziyech, just basically right at him. So, but overall, as far as the balance of play, the other thing that didn't really help us today is I thought Paul Tierney had probably one of the worst refereeing performances I've seen, or at least one of the most one-sided refereeing performances I've seen. Actually, I do kind of want to look up the stats real quick, just because I'm curious to know how many fouls we had to how many yellow cards we had, because it got to be a little ridiculous how many, like almost every single foul it felt like started to be a yellow, just out of nowhere. I don't understand what changed it. Do they really not have fouls on here? Seriously? Why do you not have fouls? Come on, Premier League app. That's ridiculous. All right, well, it says they had 13 tackles, so I don't know if that includes the fouls or if that's just tackles won. But it got ridiculous with some of the yellow cards. Reece James especially. That one was just, he puts his arm across, and because his up here connected right here, now all of a sudden Reguilon's falling on the ground, and Tierney's just like, oh, you're rolling on the ground? Oh, you must have really gotten hurt. Okay, I got you. Yellow, you can't touch my baby. That's honestly what it felt like. And anything that was in the air, if a Chelsea player hit the ground, no call. Abraham had a couple where he's going up for the ball and defender comes in and either doesn't jump and undercuts him or jumps into him, knocks him over, no call. But then all of a sudden, Giroud is jumping up. He gets well ahead of Dyer. Dyer jumps up into him and falls over. Foul on Giroud. You got to call it both ways. But the problem is, he wasn't calling it for us when we get undercut or when we get fouled in the air. But then whenever we touch them while they're in the air and they fall and hit the ground and cry, and foul. You got to be smarter than that. That's naive refereeing. And it wasn't even just the challenges in the air. Like, there were a lot of moments where it kind of felt like, okay, it's not equal. It's not equal at all. First half, I don't remember, I think it was in Ndombele, gets kind of pulled back. I think it was, I know Conte was one of them. I think Thiago Silva was the other. They both go in, he turns them, and Thiago Silva gives him a little tug on the shoulder. And so then he goes and then loses possession shortly after. The ball gets dropped. They get to take the free kick where he lost possession, which is about 10 yards inside and sets up a really good position for a free kick. Second half, Kovacic shrugs off, I think it was Bergwijn, shrugs him off. Reguilon, has to foul him. And it wasn't like the foul happened and then he goes forward and then he falls and then he pulls it back. It was Bergwijn fouls him, but that one, he manages to make it through. And then Reguilon, 10 yards down the field, fouls him there, which is about 20, 25, 30 yards out. And then all of a sudden we're having to take it from midfield. How do you make that decision? Like, how do you not see the issue there? How do you not see that you've made a mistake as a referee? It was very much like that. It very much felt like Spurs were getting a lot of the beneficial calls. They were getting a lot of the slight touches, and they fall over, and it's a foul. A couple moments where it doesn't even seem like it's even close to a yellow, but then the guy rolls for 3 minutes and screams and cries, and Tierney just obliges with a yellow card. I don't know. It felt ridiculous, and it's already frustrating enough whenever we're not playing up to our best, but whenever the referee starts to step in and sort of help the other team, that's what makes it even more frustrating. I've never been one to say, oh, the referee cost us the game. There have been moments where it feels like that, but you can always do more as a team so that the referee doesn't have to affect you. But it's always more frustrating whenever you're already not playing well and you're already not winning, and then the referee steps in and starts going against you. That extra little thing just sort of makes it even more frustrating for me. So, anyways, moving on to individual players, though. Mendy only had one real save to make, and then a couple scary moments, just a little lack of communication at times, but for the most part he did well. James, I thought, had a pretty solid game. Again, his crosses still need work. He puts in a really good looking cross, but there's nobody there. He never finds a player. He did a couple times. When I say never, he almost never finds a player. It feels like most of his crosses are too long. They're dumped to the far post and nobody's ever there. Very rarely does he find somebody on the end of things. So he needs to work more on making sure the cross doesn't just look good, but it's also to his intended target. Not just, all right, here goes, hope somebody gets on the end of it, because that's not good enough. Especially at this level, you're putting in as many crosses as you do. It can't just be dump and hope. You want to create chances from these crosses. But he's really not. But I will say the one thing that I feel like Dave brought over having James out there is he's always been a better defender than James. I feel like James has stepped it up in the defensive side of things. Like, he's really done well to work back. Still had a couple moments today where he lost track of a man, out wide that he should probably be stepping to quicker. But for the most part, like, he's reading the game well, he's working back very well, and he's winning a lot of challenges too. It's very rare that he gets beat. So I think he's done well to step up and take that first team position from Dave. But now just, get back. Because honestly, I thought last season his crosses looked a lot better. I thought that they were finding good targets. But this season it seems like he started off and it's just been dump balls, hopeful crosses. Just let me put in a good-looking cross and hopefully somebody's there. We need better than that. Zuma and Silva both had a couple of scary moments on the ball, in possession. Zuma especially late on with that pass right to Lascelles, or no, I don't remember who he passed it to now. But, he has those moments on the ball. Silva also had a couple moments. Just because they were on the ball so much, there were more moments today than I think most of the other games because they were the ones keeping a lot of possession. So, of course, you're going to have more moments whenever you have more possession of scariness. Is that a word? Whatever. I don't care. But defensively, I thought they both did well today. Silva, again, just showing his experience, having a lot of moments of this looks like it could be a dangerous cross, but then all of a sudden Silva just reads it well and gets a good header. Zuma still doing very well in the air on the dump balls, looking for Harry Kane, looking to get it over the top, and Zuma just reads it well and gets up very well. And pretty much Tottenham never really won any of those aerial duels with him. So I still like both of them in the middle. Chilwell on the left side, okay, didn't really do anything fantastic, but also did his job well enough. I feel like on the attack, though, he's really not been as effective. And I still have to wonder, do we need to give him a break? I'm not saying put Emerson in. Please, God, no. But do we need to give him a break? Do we need to give Dave some time on the left side so that way Chilwell can rest? Because it feels like he's not really showing us as much. He's not sending in the best crosses anymore. He's not getting up in the attack, and he's not nearly as effective. I just get a hair in my mouth. But, it's just, he started off so well. He was scoring, he was assisting, and it feels like he's just not really been involved in our attack as much since the beginning. And I still just feel like he could use a break. I don't know if you want to do it in the midweek. I don't know if you just want to wait, but I think he's one that could do with a break. He's one that could do with a little, just maybe one game, probably one midweek game. Just give him a break. Give Aspilicueta a chance to play on the left side. Or Tomori. Tomori can play out there too. Whatever you do not freaking play Emerson. But anyways, into the middle, Conte did what Conte does. Nothing really spectacular today. It's not like it wasn't quite the same as his game against Newcastle where he just bossed everything, but he still had a lot of moments of stepping in to stop a counterattack, stepping in to cut down any chances of them moving the ball quickly. So just, again, doing what Conte always does. Kovacic and Mount, both of them did their roles well too. Again, I don't really think either of them are going to be as good as Havertz when he's in there, getting forward on the attack. But they both do their jobs very well. They're both very hardworking. They work hard off the ball to win it back. They work hard off the ball to make runs and create openings. And Kovacic is very good in possession. It's just that final pass still needs a lot of work. But yeah, I was pleased with both of them today. I thought they didn't really do much in the midfield on the attack, but defensively it really helped us to have them there and just sort of stopping any quick counterattacks. The one thing I will say just something to work on, is whenever the other team has the ball in our attacking or our defensive third, I feel like they both sort of turn off at times. Because honestly, the best chance today came from REA has the ball in the middle, and then a quick little 1-2 around Mount, and nobody's really tracking. Mount's not tracking REA, nobody's stepping to cut off the pass from Dyer. It just kind of, everybody's standing, the defense is standing because they're holding the line. So then this is where your midfield needs to step up. But, Conte's guarding somebody, Kovacic is out there guarding somebody, Mount is sort of just standing and, gets beat too easily. So I will say the two of them need to work better whenever we're sort of guarding our defensive third. We're the ones that are pinned in, because there are times when I feel like they're just sort of watching it all happen and they're not quick enough to read the play and make a good challenge. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen occasionally, and those are probably our worst moments. In the front three, Werner, again, not a great game from him. I still don't think he's very effective on the wing. But yeah, he had a great finish, but he was offside. And then aside from that, his passing has just not been great. He doesn't link up the play very well. I think that's something he's really got to work on, because he's great when the ball gets in over the top. He's shown that is his specialty. You got a team that's sitting very high, just dump it in behind and let him run. That's what he can do very well. But unfortunately, that's not typically the teams we play against. We don't play against teams that sit high. We don't play against teams that look to press us very high. There's very few in the Premier League that do. Most of them look to sit in and counter on us. So Werner, unfortunately, I just don't see him as being very effective unless he can learn to link up the play better. He's got to learn to do that, because if not, he's going to get upseated. Both Abraham and Giroud both link up the play well. So I don't know if he's just still learning that, or if he just wants to try to keep doing his thing and just, hey guys, send me in behind. But unfortunately, if he keeps trying that, and if he just sticks to that, I don't think he's going to succeed at Chelsea. And I hate to say that. I want him to succeed at Chelsea. I want him to be an effective striker. I don't want to have another case of we spent a lot of money on you and you just didn't give us what we wanted. But that's kind of how I'm starting to feel. The more I watch him, the more I see how he plays, his passing just isn't good enough right now. So something definitely to work on going forward. Ziyech, I thought, not really as effective today as he has been. He's obviously been one of our better players throughout the past few games, but today his crossing wasn't quite up to scratch, and his pressuring was good at times, but also kind of felt a little too overextending himself. Because there were moments when he'd go to pressure, which is good, you want him to, but then he would go diving in, or he would pressure, the ball get played behind him, and then he's beat, and he can't really get back to help. So I don't know, just didn't really feel as effective on either side of the ball today as he has been. So I don't know if that's just from fatigue or if he just had a bad game today. I don't know. But Abraham up top definitely had one of his more bad games today. I know that's terrible grammar, but you know what? I'm tired, and this game kind of put me to sleep, so it's Chelsea's fault that my grammar sucks today. Abraham just wasn't really up to it. It's not like he didn't work hard. It's not like he just was lazy and did nothing. But yeah, I mean, 2 crosses right on your head, and one of them, you just sort of stand there and you jump, and then you just kind of let it skip off the side of your head. And then the other one, I don't know, it's like he was more concerned about the defender and jumping with him than he was about, okay, where's the ball? I'm going to go find it. It's 2 chances that really should have been finished, or at least should have been put on target, and he missed both of them. It's not good enough from a striker, especially somebody who is taller and should be beating players in the air. That's not good enough. I'm not saying Giroud definitely finishes those, but I'm sure he definitely gets his head on it. Now, whether it goes over, whether it's on target, that's still up in the air. I want to believe that Giroud's good enough to get it on target, but he's at least getting there. He's at least creating a chance from it. Tammy, sometimes it feels like the chance is there, and he just doesn't get on it. Whether he's not quick enough to get there, whether he's not, I don't know, it's like he gets scared jumping in the air. I don't know what it is. That could be it. It could just be that he misread it. Whatever the case, though, too many missed chances today. And I really do think if Werner is able to go back to the center, if we have two wings available in the next game, I think Tammy makes the bench. If not, I hope Giroud gets a chance. Because obviously Giroud came off the bench and didn't score for us today, but he's just so much more effective in the air. And when we have players who can send in a great cross like Ziyech, like James sometimes, you've got players who've got good whiffs on their crosses. You need a striker who's going to be there to finish it. Thank you, Jacket. I appreciate that. And Giroud's just so much better than Tammy in the air. And I don't know why we're not looking to do that, especially in today's game where clearly Mourinho has it set up, pack the center, pack the midfield, pack the center of the box. You want to get it out wide, you want to dump it into your big man striker to win it in the air. Giroud should have been on at 60, in my opinion. I don't know if you take Tammy off or if you take Werner off first, but this game was perfect for Giroud. And unfortunately, didn't really give him enough time. Gave him 12 minutes. Said, hey, go do something. Yeah, 12 minutes. Most players take at least 5 to 10 minutes to get up to the pace of the game. But here's 12 minutes. Get yourself up to the pace of the game. Go win us this game. That's not enough time. So I really do think that Giroud today, this was a good game for Giroud. But again, Tammy is the first choice, and Lampard continues to snub Giroud for some odd reason, even though he saved us in the midweek. Yeah, don't give him a chance. Sure, good choice, Lampard. As far as the other two subs, though, Pulisic, not really a game for him. It's very much a tight game. It's very, I guess, quick pressure, and he's definitely the type of player that he needs more space to run. Because, he's good with his feet, but he's no Hazard. He's not going to take on 3 players and beat them in a tight area. He's more, I would say he's almost more of a Willian, where he takes it down the line and drives, and that's his strength. You look at the goal he scored against Man City last season, that was just pure pace. He beats the defender to it and then beats the defender for pace, and he's gone. He's never really been the dribble in tight spaces. He always sort of gets either muscled off the ball or somebody sticks a foot and pokes it away from him. So I don't think this was a good game for him to come into, especially because it was still 0-0 and Jose was still packing it in tightly. I just don't think he's as effective in a game like this. And then Havertz, I don't mind him coming in to get some minutes, but he was also similar to Giroud. I thought he needed more time. I think Lampard brought him on an 85th minute, maybe. There's just not enough time to really affect the game as much. I think it was 85th. Hang on. I just want to confirm that so I don't sound stupid. I probably already sound stupid. There it is. Wait. Oh, okay. It came on the 83rd minute. I was close. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like both Havertz and Giroud would have affected this game a lot better because we had Tottenham as far as the defensive side of the game goes. We had them red. We were keeping Kane from getting a whole lot of possession. Son wasn't really getting space to run. If he did, we had good pace to keep up with him. I thought Mendy did well to keep, any shots from outside the box were covered by him. So I feel like defensively we set up well to keep them from beating us on the counter and getting that goal off the counter. But on the attack, we lacked something today. And I think if you bring on Havertz, I think he provides a little bit more in the final third. If you bring on Giroud, he gives you that option to just cross it in. Honestly, even Havertz is better in the air than Werner, probably even better than Abraham. So I just feel like both of those players should have been on a little bit sooner. But I don't know, Lampard just always likes to wait and see, and then it's really too late for a player to come on and change the game as effectively as they could. So all in all, we got a point at least. At least we didn't go and lose it at the end. That would have been the worst case scenario. But I still feel like just coming out of this game, Jose's going to feel like he won. He's going to feel like he won the battle of the minds. He parked the bus. He was able to get away with his tactics. They come out of Stamford Bridge with a point. That's a win in their book. They're top of the table at the end of the weekend. So that's, I don't know, it's just a missed opportunity in my opinion. But anyways, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe, future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys at the next game. Peace out.